Are you out there in the world of dating post-divorce? If so, and you are on all the dating apps and feeling overwhelmed, this is the episode for you. You must tune in today to hear about the 5 important, critical pointers that I have on dating apps. See you soon. Hi, everyone. Are you a swiper? In other words, are you on the dating apps? Well, if so, and if you're not and you're thinking about it, today's episode is one you are not going to want to miss, because we are going to talk about 5 critical pointers in swiping. And this wasn't a thing. If you're divorced and you're new to dating, swiping on a dating app was not a thing back in the day. So there really is a method to the madness. And we're going to talk about some of the key things that are going to make you successful in your swiping dating. And by the way, successful doesn't necessarily mean you're going to meet the person of your dreams and fall in love. It could mean you're going to learn about who you are as a person, that you're going to feel like you are out there seeking, whether it's a date or a relationship long-term or even a marriage again, that you're going to be seeking that which you want with real clarity. So tune in today. Here we go. So the 5 critical pointers, we're going to talk about the emotional preparation. We're going to talk about choosing the right app for you, because not every app is meant for everybody. We're going to be talking about your profile and how to create that. And then we're going to talk about how to navigate conversations and first dates or first meetups. And then we're going to talk about red lights and green lights. And I will, of course, as I always do, leave you with a prompt that you can really take what you've learned here today and reflect and do some writing in your journal with. And by the way, stay tuned for the journal, the Divorced Women's Dating Journal, that will be coming out in 2026. So let's get into the emotional prep. That's the first one. What does that even mean? You look at these dating apps, you have friends that say, hey, I think you should download this app, Bumble or Hinge or Tinder, and you think, oh no, that's not for me. There are crazy people out there. Haven't you watched Dateline, Stacey? Don't do that. I beg to differ. I think you have to be really clear and mindful about what you're seeking, and then know how to kind of weed the garden, if you will, because there are some weeds out there. So emotional preparation is first, before you even download an app or before you start swiping right or left, is knowing why you want to swipe. What are you looking for? Are you doing it because you feel pressured to by friends at a party? Like, oh, I'll create an app for you. I'll create a profile for you. Or are you doing it because you're bored and lonely? Maybe you're doing it because you're curious. Or maybe you're doing it because you genuinely want to seek out a connection with somebody. So just be clear about what it is you're seeking, and that can help in the process. Sometimes if we don't know what we're looking for, we won't know when we find it. If you ladies are still in a process of healing, your divorce is either not final yet, I would recommend put the swiping on hold. It's probably not time, and anybody you meet is not going to be getting the best version of you. And I can't imagine that you would want to meet somebody who is still in the process of healing also. So take the time, do the therapy, read the books, listen to the podcasts, do the work, so that you can be in a place where you feel really whole and as sure as you can be about who you are and what you're seeking. If you haven't done the healing and then you get on these dating apps, not only can it be overwhelming, it can be like an emotional meat grinder, if you will. I don't know, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm scared, I'm overwhelmed, I don't know what I'm doing. But when you've done the healing and the work on yourself, I really am a firm believer that the dating apps can open up a world of possibilities. It's like a playground of possibilities, if you will, where that you will meet people that you probably otherwise would not ever have met. And I know lots of couples, I imagine you do too, who have met online. So, and are very happy with the person that they've met. So I think it's a really good way to meet people that you wouldn't otherwise have met. Just be emotionally prepared as best you can. That's the first pointer. The second pointer is choosing the right app. So how do you even know what they are? Well, I'll give you a very brief overview. Bumble is one for women where the women actually reach out first. So if you don't know anything about swiping right means you're interested in somebody after you've read their brief profile. Swiping left means you're not interested. So women generally make the first move on Bumble. And for many women, that can feel safe and comfortable. Like you're not bombarded with all these men reaching out to you. And the only way that you will reach out to somebody is if they have swiped right on you and you have swiped right on them. So it's a match. There's an interest that he has in you or she has in you and you have in them. So that's the nice thing about Bumble. Hinge, if you're familiar with Hinge, the nice thing about Hinge, I think, is that there are lots of conversation starters, little prompts. You could say like, although I think Bumble may have prompts as well, but you could say things like, here's 2 truths and a lie, or this is the photo that my mother has on her refrigerator of me, or, it gives you little like funny quips that you can lead with, and that sometimes can help break the ice. The other nice thing I like about Hinge is that there's an option to voice record. So you can actually hear somebody's voice and they would often respond to a prompt that Hinge gives you also. So one might be, my favorite thing to do on Sundays is, and then you can voice record your response. My favorite thing to do on Sundays is to cook and meal prep for the week, or hang out with friends, or go to the gym, or go to church, or whatever you do. And there's something nice about hearing somebody's voice, and it just gives you another layer of who they are as a person. So that's a nice thing about Hinge. Match.com or the Match app or eHarmony, those are often a little bit more expensive. Bumble and Hinge both have a free version, and then you can upgrade, of course, if you wanted to as well, offering different features. Match or eHarmony, I believe, are only paid. I don't think they have a free version. And oftentimes it's been said that people on Match or eHarmony are more intentional and serious about looking for a relationship. I've heard that on eHarmony, people are often more geographically spread further apart, but the nice thing about eHarmony is that they will ask you to go through a very comprehensive, not necessarily a psychiatric evaluation, but some kind of really a deeper sense of who you are. They're asking you deeper questions. And I don't know whether it's true or not or how these algorithms work, but they say they'll match you with somebody who's of like mind. And I think the same is true of Match. And then there's Tinder, which I like to call the snack aisle in the grocery store. I'm not sure you really want to stop in the snack aisle and have a whole entree there. But if you want to curiously look, there are people who have met on Tinder. My understanding is that Tinder is often more for people who are looking for sex or some kind of a one-night stand. But I could be wrong. This is just what I've heard. So we've got the emotional preparation. We've got making sure that you choose the best app you think would be for you. And maybe the only way to find out or to know is really to do a little experimenting with some of them. And you'll see what feels best. The third pointer today that we're going to talk about is your actual profile. Like, what do you say about yourself? What pictures do you put there? And I want you to think in terms of, this is more an invitation to connect with somebody than it is a resume. Well, I work here, and the facts are important. I'm allergic to cats, or I only like country music. I don't like rock and roll or whatever it is. The facts are important, but I think if you can use a little humor, you can use a little playfulness and lighten up the profile, it really helps to engage with somebody else. So again, it's an invitation to connect to you versus, and then in 1975, and then in 1995. You don't want it to be boring. Also, things about your profile, don't use filters, because there are so many people that many men I've heard say things like, oh, you don't look anything like your profile pictures did. Oh, did you use a filter? Use updated photos also, because if you used a picture like from your high school yearbook, that may not reflect how you look today. If it does, hey, power to you. Be careful with bathroom selfies, where the pictures that you're posting, where they're taken. Sometimes people like to have friends in their pictures, but if you do, be clear about which one you are. Yeah, you ever look at a profile picture and you see 10 different people, like, whose profile is this? I don't know who I'm looking at. I've seen a number of profiles where men have put some interesting things on there. One man had a picture of he's bald, shaving cream on his head. I'm not sure why he thought that would be attractive, but people put lots of interesting things on their profiles. So be really mindful about the pictures that you use to reflect who you are. And in your bio, maybe again, a little humor, show a little bit of your personality, and really be as clear as you can about what you're looking for. If you don't ever want to get married again, maybe you say, I'm looking for a long-term best friend or a long-term partner. Or I just got divorced. I'm not ready to date. You can say like casual dating only. So be clear about what you're seeking and be honest. There are so many people who lie about so many things, and inevitably it's going to get found out, the truth. For example, I see a lot of men over the years in my own divorced dating journey that have lied about their age. Lots of men. And so you think I'm not going to find out how old you are when we meet? And, not only is the age thing something that you want to be really mindful of, but if you're lying about that, like what else might you be lying about? So I think it's important to be as honest as you can without sharing too much. You don't need to tell them like, when you had your last, colonoscopy or something. They don't need to know that. So we've got emotionally preparing to put yourself into this place where you can be swiping in a smart way. We've got choosing the right app for you. That's the second one. The third pointer we just discussed was your profile. And the fourth one is, how do you navigate conversations and first meetups? Oftentimes when you connect with somebody on one of these apps, I recommend you go back and forth for a little banter, little, playfulness. And then maybe you move it to texting on your phones and then a phone call and relatively quickly if you can. I mean, unless you're looking for a pen pal to text with over an extended period of time, and most people on apps are not, I would recommend that you have a phone call and, if you're willing, a video call relatively soon, maybe within the first week of connecting with this person online, so you can know or not know whether you want to pursue them or not. And they can also know or not know if they want to pursue you or not. So that will help, I think, like really condensing the process instead of just dragging something on over time. The other thing too is, again, the phone calls, they can be, they can turn into an interview process sometimes. They can turn into a therapy session. So tell me, how many kids do you have? How long have you been divorced? All that's informative and necessary to know. But I think those things also come out inevitably. So what I really, really want you to focus on when you're talking to somebody for the first time, be it text or a phone call, video, or first date, is how do I feel when I'm with this person? Do I feel nervous? Do I feel interested? Am I bored to tears looking at my watch? Like, how do I get out of this date? Notice how you feel, because that will be so telling in terms of whether or not you want to proceed. And remember, your time is precious. Life is short. So do you want to waste time with a date that you know you're probably not going to be interested in this person? Again, I always go back to the Maya Angelou quote too. I love it. When people show you who they are, believe them. And people will show you who they are within the first 5 minutes in the first conversation. So if you're tuned in to, oh, this person is talking right over me in the first phone conversation, and they're not pausing to listen to me or be inquisitive about who I am, that's telling. You'll probably get a lot more of that down the road. So remember, choose wisely. And so the last one, so that was navigating the conversations and your first dates. The last pointer for you about smart swiping is looking at the red flags, or the red lights, I would say, and the green lights. And really, what are these? These are terms that we often use so frequently. Oh, any red flags did you see? You know, some yellow flags, maybe not red. But there are reasons for these expressions. If, for example, you meet, and I'm talking in heterosexual jargon right now, but it doesn't matter what your gender is. It doesn't matter what you're interested in. If you're interested in dating men, women, non-binary, it doesn't matter. But this applies to all. Whenever somebody is really interested in you, overly interested in you. Maybe they're sending you gifts in the first week or 2 weeks of knowing you. Maybe they call you or text you 3, 5, 10 times a day. Flowers, whatever it is. If it's too much too soon, it's too much too soon. And that could be a red flag, a sign of love bombing. And if you're not familiar with the term love bombing, I know I've addressed it in some of my previous episodes, but it's coming on so much so that they're just in it for the catch. And maybe when they catch you, they're no longer interested. So be really wary of that. If for some reason somebody's asking you to meet with them at, hey, how about we meet tonight at the bar at 11 p.m.? Why 11 p.m.? You know, red flag. If they're calling you at 12, or they start texting you at midnight or 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning, is it drunk texting and they just got back from a date with somebody else? You know, we have to be really aware, eyes wide open to the things that don't feel right probably aren't right. So paying real attention to that. Green lights, on the other hand, are things like, oh, this person said they were going to call when they actually called. This person said they were going to pick me up, or not even pick me up. First date, you probably shouldn't be picked up. But they said they were going to be here at 7 p.m. They were here at 7 p.m. Actually, they were here at 6:45. When somebody's impeccable with their word, that really means everything. When they respect your time, when they respect your boundaries, when they show a genuine curiosity about you. Wait, did you tell me you had 2 sisters or 2 brothers? I forgot what you had said. I want to learn about you. That's a nice sign to keep going. It's a green light. So we've talked today about emotionally preparing yourself for smart swiping. We've talked about choosing the right app for you. We've talked about creating your profile, navigating conversations, initial conversations, and video and texting and first meetups. And we've talked about green and red lights. So I hope that gives you a very brief but comprehensive overview of how to prepare yourself and navigate dating apps. And we will have many more conversations about this moving forward in future episodes. Today's journal prompt, and I always leave you with a prompt, something, again, you can reflect on and write about in your journal. I'm going to offer you 2. The first one is, what are my goals in swiping? So just to write about what your goals are. What am I really looking for? And again, having that clarity will set you up for success. The other one is when you're swiping right, left, right, left, 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 and then more lefts sometimes. Ask yourself, how do I feel as I'm swiping? How do I feel when I look at this person's profile? Do I feel discouraged? Do I feel intrigued? How do I feel? Because again, when we tune into our feelings, so we know what we're looking for and we are aware of how we're feeling, and that's in alignment, we're going to have a positive experience, regardless of the outcome. So stay open, stay confident, calm, and curious, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Happy swiping. Thanks for hanging out with me on Divorced Women Dating. Dating after divorce is definitely an adventure, and honestly, it is way more fun when we do it together. Hit subscribe so you don't miss a single moment of the helpful, hopeful, or just really relatable episodes. See you soon.